Welcome everyone, my name is Piotr Pelcer and I will be talking to you about 7 sins of Scrum Master to make it a little bit dramatic. So people make mistakes, we all make mistakes, it's normal I would say, and we actually learn best from mistakes, and unfortunately we learn best from our mistakes. We don't learn so much and so well from others. We all sure wish it was different, but it is what it is. And over my career, I have made a lot of mistakes myself. I have seen a lot of mistakes being done. So I would like to share those with you. So maybe, just maybe, we can learn and improve based on other people failing, not ourselves. So just doesn't have to be this way that you fail yourself to learn yourself. I will take questions at the very end, and let's get started. So, who am I? A few words about myself. People find it interesting that I have went to college in the United States, which is part of the reason why this talk is being made in English. The second part is not to make it awkward for you, despite you all speaking Polish and me as well. It is because I would like this talk to end up on Agile by example someday, and obviously the English is mandatory there. So just for my sake, my benefit, I would like to get some practice speaking English and doing this talk in English. So bear with me and apologize for the inconvenience. So as I said, I did my studies in the United States. I was double major, computer science and software engineering. But just after college, I came back to Poland and started my career as a Java developer. Very quickly, I have, however, started to focus more on people and less on coding, because all my life from the kindergarten, in every group I was part of, football team, just kids playing. I kind of was a natural leader of every group, and I enjoyed analyzing people, working with people, making sure we can all improve and we can strive to be a team, a group that works well together. So that's what I started moving towards, away from Java coding and to becoming a team leader, then a manager, a resource manager. That job was worthless. And then in the more recent days, Scrum Master, developer coach, Agile coach. People like to give a lot of names and tags and labels to themselves. I don't care. If I had to put myself a tag, I would say I'm just enhancer, just a guy who makes a difference, a guy who tries for his team and for people around him to be better and improve themselves and just have more fun. So I have this motto, I would say, that today I will change the world a little bit, because I believe it's very hard to change the world in the big time, but around you, you can do it every day. You can make someone's lives better, someone's day nicer, someone learn something new, and just enjoy life a little bit more. If you live by that, and I live by that, I think it makes a difference. So quite recently, I have been working most with IPF Digital company, who was kind enough to sponsor the recording of this meeting, and they are currently recruiting. So at the end, if you're interested, there are some ads here, so we can take them. And also, just a couple of months ago, I have co-founded Agile Masters, which is just a partnership with my colleague, when we joined forces to deliver best Agile solutions, consulting, training, and so on and so on. And I think that's enough about me. Let's get to the gist of this presentation, the 7 sins. So we'll go in the descending order, but it's not really like an order that number 1 is the worst sin or something. It's just kind of a way I ordered them. So number 7, sorry. So imagine this story. Your CEO of the company that you're working for, is going golfing. And he's going golfing with a bunch of his friends, other CEOs, and they are all talking about this Agile stuff. And he doesn't get it. Like, what's Agile? Am I fat? Is that it? No. So he finally asks, guys, Agile, what is it? And they tell him, well, in IT, you need to be Agile or your company is going to die. So he goes, okay, I don't want to die. I don't want to lose my job and my company. So he comes back to the office Monday morning and saying, okay, guys, we're going to be agile. Agile project, agile transformation project is starting. And I will tell you all about it. I will hire some consultants. They will do it in 2 weeks, they promised. They're expensive, so sure they're right. And this is how it's going to be. You guy, you have been the leader of this team. So from today, you're the Scrum Master, or let's call it technical Scrum Master, because that's what I feel is suitable for you. So you just do what you have been doing. And you who have been the project managers now call the product owner. And the team stays the same. So what's a product owner? It's just the same, you just do the same and just write requirements differently. You do those user stories. What are user stories? Do I have to talk to people? Oh God, no. You just have to use this template. So I, as a project manager, a product owner now, want you to implement this so that my boss is happy and we make a lot of money. Okay, that's easy. And the Scrum Master guy, the technical Scrum Master, what do? Well, what you always did. So you just split the tasks, estimate them yourself, take status from the guys, you just boss them around just like you did before. Oh yeah, I forgot. There are those meetings that you need to organize. So if you organize those, and on those meetings, like on planning, you put the tasks to your team and you tell them what to do, and we're good. You're a Scrum Master now. And obviously, paper or virtual paper will take everything, but your email footer doesn't make you who you are. It doesn't make you a Scrum Master at all. So if you're being the team's manager, just like you were before, well, it's hard to call it a sin because it's just you're calling yourself something that you're totally not. So you're just not a Scrum Master, and it's very hurtful to people that you tell around that you guys are doing Scrum, and the only place this is Scrum is in the name and in all the names and all the meetings that are surely being misimplemented. And what you should do instead, if you want to change that, if you don't want to be the team's manager, but become actually a Scrum Master. So I think you should try to really understand the Scrum Master role. Don't take what you were told for granted. Just educate yourself. There are so many materials these days on the internet that are just free and easy and just there. So first gain knowledge, understand Scrum, and it's probably going to be very hard at this company, at this team, but obviously you shouldn't just ditch your job tomorrow. But maybe, just maybe, you can try this role at a different team, at the same company. Maybe try to talk to someone and let them know that I would like to be the Scrum Master, not only by name, but really. And maybe this will work out for you. Maybe this is one solution. Maybe you can see it differently. But definitely, if you're a team's manager, you're just not a Scrum Master. That's it. So number 6. It's okay, those mistakes I'm talking about, it's okay for everyone to do mistakes. And in Scrum, or in Agile, actually, sometimes it's good to fail fast because we can learn from mistakes and you can use inspection and adaptation, and then we become better and smarter. So cool. However, if the team is failing over and over, your team that you're Scrum Master of is never delivering, and you're like, okay guys, it's fine, don't worry, we'll be better next time. Yeah, planning, let's get hyped for planning. Guys, no, developers, the introvert developers, why are you not hyped? Be hyped. We're supposed to be hyped. When we are hyped and happy, we'll surely deliver. Next sprint goes, nothing is delivered, money is flowing out the window, but you're still happy. Okay, guys, it's okay, let's do retrospective, let's see, maybe we'll improve something. And basically, you're just never serious. Maybe you read the twisted version of Agile Manifesto that said in your mind that you take individuals and interactions over working software, and individuals and interactions over customer collaboration. Basically, individuals and interactions over anything else. And still the same scene comes in a worse form, tree hugging. When you push it to ridiculous level, when you misunderstand Agile to running on the fields, naked and dancing and being happy. No, that's not it. And trust me, like I really believe that you can say that people who are successful are happy. It's true. But they are not happy because they're successful. They are successful because they're happy. I also believe that. I believe in people happiness and caring about people. But let's not put individuals' interaction in front of everything else. I have actually been part of a project some years ago that was causing our company back then to pretty much die. And there were not that many Scrum Masters, but there was one guy who he was never serious, and he was like, well, they might fire us, but yeah, it's okay, it's going to be okay. Like, no, it's not going to be okay. And you really need to finally deliver some working software, even sometimes not being happy, just for a small second to deliver this working software, because at the end of the day, if that's about your survival, you really should put working software not over individuals' interactions, but it's kind of a little bit different in the original Agile manifesto. So that's, I guess, the end of that one. So yes, people happiness, of course, just don't let it overshadow everything else, because if you do, you not only make yourself look ridiculous, but you make the whole actually Agile motion be ridiculous, because people perceive it from outside that, okay, those Agile guys are those, like, I don't know, they're drugged, they're happy, like they're smoking something, and they don't care whether we are burning money or making money. So, no. Number 5. I think this one is a typical rookie sin. So, one way or another, you ended up on this nice Scrum training, nice 2-day Scrum training with a very good coach, and you got your entry-level certificate. You pass that, and you come back to your company, and now you will tell them. Now you will tell them that everything they have been doing is wrong, because now you have been blessed by knowledge, you have understood, and now, thankfully, they have you to tell them, to point their mistakes. And you go around, it's like, guys, this waterfall, what are you, dinosaurs? Come on. No one is doing that anymore. It's so stupid. Like, how can it be working? Look at the documentation with use cases. No, user stories only. That's wrong. So 2 weeks ago, we were doing the same thing, but now you know. Now you know better. And now everyone that's not doing what you've been told on your training is just basically, I don't know, a moron or something, because you know better. Imagine this story. You join a company, say it's a fintech company, a startup, or maybe it was a startup 2 years ago, now it's just growing fast. Like 2 years ago, there was like 3 people, now it's close to 200, and they hire you, and you join there, and like every day someone new comes to work, there's a lot of chaos, and everywhere you look, you're like, guys, what are you doing? Like, there are no procedures, like where's Scrum, where's Agile? Like, what are you doing here? Like, this is wrong, this is not efficient. I will tell you how to be efficient. Thank God you hired me, because with my entry-level certificate, now I know, and I will tell you how can you fix everything. I'll point your mistakes, and everywhere I see something wrong. So, I will help you. And ask yourself this question: if everything that you see around, everything those guys are doing is wrong, inefficient, stupid, how come there were 3 people 2 years ago, and now there are 200, and they hired you? They hired you because of their smarts and success, and you're just a hypocrite. So don't be a hypocrite. Respect others' achievements. Look around you and ask yourself, okay, maybe not everything around is perfect. Hardly ever is. But they got here somehow, and you should actually admire that. You should admire that, And based on your knowledge and what you have learned, you should try to obviously help everyone improve the process that might be faulty, might be a little bit chaotic. Good, very good. But don't ridicule other people for their great achievements, actually. Because the only reason you're there is based on their success. So, again, do not be a hypocrite. Appreciate others. It's not that this way of working is the only way of working that's successful, makes sense, and others will fail for sure. All right, number 4. So, Scrum is a framework, and it has some rules. And those rules will be enforced by you. You will make sure those rules are enforced. A daily lasts 16 minutes. You disconnect the call right now, right at the 15th minute mark. You end the call because they're supposed to stick to the time box. The team wants to move their refinement every other morning by 1 hour. Nope, that's not in your working agreements. That's not what you have agreed. Cancel everything else. Someday, someone, gets sick in the morning and he calls and like, guys, can we move a planning 1 hour? I really want to be there because I was very involved in refining those stories that we're going to be working on. I know all about them. I want to be present during the planning. Please move it 2 hours because I need to take care of my life. Nope. Rules are rules. They have to be enforced. That's what Scrum is all about. And God forbid anyone tries to refine a story during the planning because it just came up an hour ago and it's actually not following your definition of ready, so it needs to go. It needs to go and wait for the next sprint whenever it may start because those are the rules. So what you are doing is you are doing Scrum Fascism. You clearly did not understand Scrum. It's not about those rules. It's not only about those rules. It's what you should do instead is understand the Scrum values. Are you really, by your behavior, following them? Are you embracing them, the Scrum values, what they are? Maybe you should remind yourself and the team that it's a lot about the values. And it's more about creating the right environment, the right tools, provide people with empowerment, and trust them to do the job. It's not about the daily being 15 minutes every single day, or else it's not Scrum. Scrum is not about strict rules. It's about maximizing value in a certain way, following certain values. So remember that and not be a Scrum fascist. Number 3. So another story. You join a team and they have been working with Scrum for quite some time. At least they call it that. And you learn the way they have been working so far. And you learn that they created Scrum as a framework after all, so they have adapted it to their needs because they're very specific. Just like everyone, they're very specific. And they have created their own Scrum Monster. Kind of doesn't really make much sense. And you can see that they have lost most of its core benefits. But, well, it is what it is. They're specific. Their product owner, project manager, whatever, is asking for status strictly on the dailies, and he is single-handedly providing the scope for the next sprint. They just nod in agreement. And you see all of that, and you just think, well, but that's how it is here, and that's how they have been working, and like everyone is happy. Like those guys are satisfied, and you start to ask very shyly around how it works in other teams, and it just works this way at this company because they're specific. And you're like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? Well, you book the rooms for us, you put the stories in Jira for us, and you're good. So you do that for some time, and everyone's happy with you. And you're like, okay then, what a cozy place, lovely. So no one cares that it's not Scrum. You see it's not working, but maybe you start convincing yourself actually that, well, it is working somehow, and people are enjoying it, so why bother? So you just adapt, and then at the end of the month, you invoice and smile, and you're happy. And some months go by, maybe even years. And it's so convenient, it's a dream job. Like you really do pretty much nothing, like you do the easiest job ever. No one is bothering you, you're just getting paid, so cool. And 2 years later, you've probably forgotten everything because we live in a pretty dynamic world. Things are changing pretty quickly. If you don't improve, if you're in one place, you're probably falling behind. And if you're just adapting and like you stopped using your brain 2 years ago, I see this as a very short-term solution, pretty cozy maybe, pretty convenient in the short term, but in the long term, I don't know. It doesn't make much sense to me, and I don't think you're doing a good job at being a Scrum Master, a leader, or whoever. And again, by doing that, by embracing this behavior, you're kind of hurting Scrum because you're supporting something, some monster, some creation, some weird framework, some weird thing, and calling it Scrum and like accepting it and even being happy, invoicing and smiling. So number 2 is a little bit related to the previous one. So say different story, you join a different team, different company, forget those guys, maybe you're a different person even. And the Scrum within this team it is as intended. There are all the meetings, all the ceremonies are in place. The daily is pretty effective. Like the guys really have the plan after the daily for the next 24 hours. They don't give status. They just effectively plan their next 24 hours, and they know what to do. They talk to each other. There is a product owner. He has a vision for the product, and on review you have a demo as well, and there are cookies, and everyone loves cookies, so it's really lovely. It's just something is not working, and it's not within the team. It's not like the team is trying. The team is really trying. They are really they care. They work hard. They understand each ceremony. They really talk about the process during the retrospective. They try to improve, and as I said, they even invite stakeholders with cookies to their review. And the product owner has a vision. It's just, I don't know. Maybe the team isn't cross-functional. Maybe they have this dependency on another team that's doing front-end somewhere. And oftentimes, at the end of the sprint, they're done, but not really. Like their code is done and committed and merged, hidden behind the feature flag, but it's worthless. And it's not their fault. Like they did their job and like they feel good about themselves. And you kind of see it as a problem. And but it's not the team's problem. It's not really within your reach. And maybe it's a different problem. Maybe in this company there is like a fixed date to end your sprint, so that all the teams are synchronized. Say it's Friday, and it's okay. This is Friday, but on Fridays in the morning, all the testers or the QAs have this meeting that's lasting 3 hours in the morning, and they never get a chance to test the code that was last minute. So the whole sprint pretty much. And well. You would like to move the sprint to a different day, sprint end, but you can't because it's not your decision. It's not the team's decision. That is what's the status quo in this company. That's what someone decided, and you really try your best. You work hard to improve within those conditions, those limitations that you're surrounded with, I gave 2 examples, but you can probably think from your own experience about others that are given to the team from somewhere, from the organization. And you really try within those limitations to fight it, to deliver, but you fail often because, well, it's not your fault. And what you're doing is you're thinking inside the box or not thinking outside the box. So the Scrum Master role is sure about the team and the product owner, but also about the organization. And if you just accept the status quo and you even sometimes defend those limitations that you are given, no, that's wrong. You really should challenge the status quo. And if you see some procedure, something stupid that is blocking your team, is an impediment, is a serious impediment outside the team, but for the team, you should try to work with your organization and fight it. If you're not doing that, you're not really a great Scrum Master for the team, because you are trying and maybe you're good and the guys like you, but that's not what this role should be fully about. You should also work with your organization and let them know. Talk to everyone. Don't be afraid to go even higher up and explain how is this affecting us. And one way to explain it is to use money. For example, every sprint, you can probably estimate how much it costs to the company. And if you don't deliver it at the end, it's basically money out the window. And you can try to go somewhere and ask them, those 200,000 euros just bought us this one ticket on production. Are you satisfied with that? Because if we move this Friday's QA meeting, you would have this, and this. Maybe it will be better. What do you think? This is just an example, but I think you get my point, that you should not just stick to what's given to you from outside, from outside the team, but you should focus, also dedicate some time to making sure the environment provided to the team is one that they're satisfied with and that enables them to truly be a good Scrum team and deliver value. Okay, last one. So, Scrum Master. Who is a Scrum Master? One common definition, the one that comes to everyone's mind at the beginning is that, well, Scrum Master is kind of a servant leader. And okay, so let's look at it. Let's try to take it apart. So being a servant is fairly easy. You know, organizing rooms and making sure the meetings take place and taking care of the time and taking care of the board or Jira or whatever. Let's be honest, anyone can do it. Anyone, basically anyone on earth can do it. But then there's more. That's not enough. You should know Scrum. So you should not only know Scrum, you should make sure your team knows Scrum and your product owner knows Scrum and understands it and implements it correctly. So you need to teach yourself, maybe get a certificate, and let's not kid ourselves, the entry-level certificate is pretty hard to fail. But you need to learn those rules, those simple rules, and teach them to others. And I'd say it takes something from you to get that, to understand that, and teach it to others. But it's still doable. I can say it's still doable. But there's more. Every Scrum Master is also Agile coach in a way, that he is coaching Agile way of thinking to the team, to the organization, to the product owner. And coaching is definitely next level. It's difficult to do correctly. It's difficult to master. It takes practice. Some people are naturally better at it. Some are worse. So if you combine it with the previous two, it's quite a job already to do it correctly, all of that. Maybe not rocket science, but still it's already pretty challenging. However, there is still one extremely important thing that's missing, and I think this is my favorite scene because I see it, I think, most often. And that is not being a leader. So you can know Scrum, you can be the servant, you can even do some coaching on Scrum, but if you're not the leader for the team, for those people, then I think this is a problem. Because those people will never truly follow what you're trying to teach them. And never truly go after you in this Scrum way and understand its core. And how you, I think, should try to do it is, for example, the Scrum values. You should live by them every second. You should be a role model that's showing them and pointing, not pointing, it's just showing them by behavior, by your acting, how you should be, how you should act on and off the job. And if you promote it, if you become the role model, and you sometimes, very often, people are saying Scrum Master is also protecting the team. And even saw it on a few training movies that, you know, the manager, the bad boss is coming to the team, and the Scrum Master stands up. I will stand to you. I will protect the team. You talk to me, you don't talk to them. They're busy. They have their sprint, and I will protect them. So talk to me. And very good. Very good as well. However, what's even better is proactively protecting the team. So making sure that not only when someone comes to you, but you just look at the team and how they are working. Do they have all the tools? Do they have all the competences? Are they truly cross-functional? Interdisciplinary team? Is everything working as intended? Can something be improved? If yes, don't even ask. Don't wait for them to ask you or see this problem. Just fix it yourself as soon as you see it. Provide, again, I said it in one of the previous scenes, Scrum is about providing your team with the right environment and the right tools and trust them to get the job done. And they will get the job done if all of those are met, if all those conditions are met. So I think being a leader is what makes a difference between a okay or good Scrum Master and a great one, a special one. And I know it's not easy because it's there are some natural characteristics for some people that they were gifted in this way, but anyone can try, and anyone can try to improve at that, and seek help, get coached, and talk to others, share experiences, and become a leader. We're out of scenes, but not out of slides yet. So let's talk about Scrum Enemy, number one enemy that Scrum has. And I think, sure as hell, it's not waterfall. What I think it is a silent killer that's making Scrum sometimes be a joke around you. Because I don't know about you, but in my career, somewhere in the office corridors, in the kitchen, on the internet, on some forums, I have heard so many, jokes about, this documentation is crappy. Oh, because it's Agile. And, we're changing our mind every 30 minutes, and our priorities change because we're Agile, and this is Agile. And some of the scenes I have talked about before, if they are committed, also make Scrum look very bad. And because many times it's just not Scrum. It's like everyone is doing Scrum. If you ask all your colleagues on the IT companies, like Scrum, yeah, maybe Kanban. But everyone is Agile. But if you ask two questions, if you just look under the blanket and say, so how was your Agile? And just a few sentences in and you already know it's again, because I saw it so often. It wasn't Scrum. Someone just called it Scrum, misunderstood it, misimplemented it. It didn't work. It didn't make sense. All the people involved had this idea in their head that most of those meetings were a waste of time. Like I would have been better off browsing memes on the internet than attending our retrospective, because we have talked for an hour and never ever we have changed anything afterwards. No action points were created, and even if they were on such a level that nothing could be done. And it's okay, we understand that our Scrum Master tried, but it was above his pay grade and he couldn't. And if I think about all of that combined, I think that the only enemy of Scrum is bad Scrum. Or not Scrum at all, that's being called Scrum. Because implementing double quote Scrum in such a way that you throw those meetings at people and you change the title from the leader to Scrum Master and the project manager to product owner, and your user stories are, following the template. So today I, as the project manager, would like to have this requirement implemented, or otherwise I will fire you. And it's people somewhere forgot what Scrum is all about, or maybe they didn't even forget, they never cared to learn properly, but it's trendy, it's jazzy, everyone is doing that. That other CEO I met on drinks was doing Agile, and he drives a nice car, so I'll be Agile as well. And I think all of that is really making Scrum being perceived more and more as a kind of weird thing that doesn't really change anything. It just adds some overhead, and people hate it at the end of the day. Because it's really painful when I meet a new guy at my team, and he said, "Oh God, you're doing Scrum." I'm like, "What's wrong?" "Oh, I was doing Scrum already. Oh, it was so bad." And then I learn his story, and really, it is bad. And I have experienced this so many times that I think bad Scrum is really winning right now against Scrum. So, on a final note, I think what I'd like to ask you for at the end is that think about what I have told you, what you have heard today. Maybe you can relate to some of those scenes, stories personally. Maybe you see it around you, maybe your colleagues. Maybe you don't agree, that's fine as well. But try to sleep with this, what I told you, and try to think, how can you personally improve yourself, improve Scrum, a Scrum Master, someone on the team, someone in Agile community, meetup, help someone be better or be yourself better. And bit by bit, if you just do one improvement every day, as I said, together we can change the world a little bit. So that's what I had prepared for you for this talk. Thank you, and now it's time for questions.
I'm not sure if I have a question. I have a comment, and it's about scene number 3, which is about when you enter an organization where they are not really doing Scrum, but everyone is happy. So I think we should be very careful, because if everyone is happy, then I wouldn't touch it. However, what I see as a potential is for this, let's say, Scrum Master new one, to look for problems and notice them, even if they are not noticeable. Then if you have an opening of a problem, then you can show it to the people who would be interested, and then this will be a way to change. But if there is no problem, then I would invoice and be happy.
So I'll quickly paraphrase, because maybe not everyone heard the question. It was about scene number 3, which was adapting only. And what's your name? What Philip was saying is that if everyone is happy at this place, maybe there's not a good point to change stuff, because it is working. And it will be good to, in this case, stick to it and invoice and smile. And sure, if everything is working, I totally agree with you. But often, and what I meant when I was describing this situation, is that everyone is happy with themselves because no one is caring, and they're not doing a good job. And teams are pretty much underperforming greatly and most of the procedures make little sense. You see it, but you do nothing because no one pushes you to it as well. You see rooms for improvement, but why bother? So that's what I meant. But sure, if people are happy and they're delivering good software and it is working, sure, don't touch it. As I said, Scrum is not a remedium to everything, including word hunger.
So thank you very much. And I have a question about sin number 1. So Scrum Master being not only a servant, but also a leader. So looking around the market today, I see that a lot of companies differentiate between Agile coaches and Scrum Masters at the same place. And I have a feeling, asking people around, that Agile coach is a leader and while Scrum Master should be only a servant, according to that differentiation. And according to your experience, do you see it often in the companies you work for?
Okay, so again, I will paraphrase the question. It was about Scrum Master not being a leader, and the market differentiating between Scrum Masters and Agile coaches being leaders and Scrum Master not being leaders, just servants, and how is it in my experience? Okay, so yes, I am aware about this differentiation on the market between Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, Super Scrum Master, Chief Scrum Master, Technical Scrum Master, Agile Coach. I even heard Senior Agile Coach. And it's ridiculous. It's as I said at the very beginning, I don't like those titles, tags, and because they go in a way of what you're really doing. I think every Scrum Master has to be a leader, because servant leader, those are actually, servant is an adjective in English, and a leader is a noun. So it's just describing this noun. And every Scrum Master is also an Agile coach, because he's coaching everyone about Agile and Scrum. And yes, I am aware about those differences, but I wouldn't draw a strict line that Scrum Master is not a leader, Agile coach is okay, you're a leader.
Thank you.
Final chance, 3, 2, 1, sold. Okay, thank you then.